Or y'all letting one in real quick. All right, y'all, so let me write this number one down. I'm gonna work it by hand to solve it for y. Once you got it solved for y, you can use the calculator to get your points, or you can use your own points on your table, okay? So it is 8y plus 4x equals 4. So no matter which way you go, you're going to want to actually solve that for that y. All right, y'all, so to solve it for y, you're going to move the 4x over and then divide everybody by 8. So I'm going to subtract 4x. That's going to bring down our 8y. Those cancel on this side. And y'all over here, you can do 4 minus 4x, or you can do negative 4x plus 4. Order don't matter, okay? Right now, divide everybody by 8. Well, 8 divided by 8 gives me a 1y. I cannot divide 4 by 8, but I can reduce that. So y'all, what could I reduce these 4 over 8s into? Oh, good job, y'all. That can reduce to 1/2. And then minus, same thing here, 1/2 x. All right, y'all. So at this point, you can make your XY table. Get your two values and then plug them in. So on this one, I'm just going to use 0 and 1. The reason I'm going to use a 1 on this one because both of these are fractions. And even if I get rid of that fraction, I still have that one. So, all right, y'all. So let's see. If we put a 0 in for this x, negative 1/2 times 0 is 0. So I got 1/2 minus 0, which will give me 1/2. Then if I put a 1 in for the x, 1 times 1/2 is 1/2. And then I got 1/2 minus 1/2. Brandon, what y'all got? 0. Good job. So now I'm just going to plot these 2 points in MATLAB and be done with this one, okay? All right, y'all. So y'all's number one, you're going to click on the enlarge graph. This is a line tool. So your number one will be the line tool. Click on in and then plot them 2 points. I had 0, 1/2. So starting at 0, I'm just going to go up a little bit to my 1/2 and click. And then I had 1, 0. So go right to 1 and 0. And at that point, you save it and then you'll move on, okay? All right, y'all, I'm going to show you on the calculator. You would just did y equals. Now, you would have had to solve it still. So you got to solve it. So I'm going to do my 1 divided by 2 minus my 1 divided by 2x. So let's look at the graph. And y'all, that's the same graph I just drew in MATLAB. And you could have hit second graph at this point and got your points. So I use 0 and 1. So there's my 0. 0.5 is 1/2. And then I had 1, 0, okay? So y'all, either way, solve it for y and then either use your calculator or by hand to get them 2 points. All right, y'all, then we hit next. All right, so my number 2 is a y equals x cubed minus 1. All right, so I'm going to go plot some points down real quick. All right, so on that cube, it's already solved for y, so I'm just going to find my points. Since that's a cube, I'm using little numbers like 0, 1, 2, and then I'm going to use -1. That way I can avoid that 3 because that 3 is too big to graph on that when you cube it, okay? All right, y'all, so find me some values. If you put a 0 in, what's y going to equal? So you'll have 0 cubed minus 1, so that's a -1. Good job. All right, if y'all put a 1 in for x, what do we get? So 1 cubed minus 1 is 0. All right, you're putting a 2 in for x. So I got 2 cubed minus 1. So let's say, what's that? 2 cubed, 2 times 2 times 2 would be 8. And then I got 8 minus 1 on that one would give me a 7. There you go. And y'all, -1. -1 cubed minus 1. So that'd be -2. Good job. All right, y'all, so you got 4 points. You're going to go plot them in Math Lab. So we're going to click on our graph. Now, that is a cube. So we need to use the 4-point cubic tool, the squiggly line, okay? So grab that 4-point cubic tool, and then let's plot points. I had 0, -1. I had 1, 0. I had 2, 7. And then I had -1, -2. And usually your graph should look really similar to that when you're done on that one, okay? All right, y'all didn't save that. Now, that can be done on the calculator also. So I'm going to share my calculator real quick. I'm going to go to y equals and clear out this old one. So I had x exponent 3, then bring that back down, and it was -1. So make sure you bring the cursor back down after you put in the exponent. All right, y'all, second graph will get that table. So there's my -1, -2, 0, -1, 1, 0, 2, 7. So you probably want your numbers to be really between that -2 and 2. Because any smaller than -2, you got really big y values, and then anything bigger than a +2 down here had really big y values. All right, then y'all watch the graph, and there you go. There's our squiggly line shooting up through there, okay? All right, y'all, then we hit next. All right, so our next one, we're just going to plug in for C and figure out what the Fahrenheit temperature will be. So we got F equals 9/5 C plus 32. So what temperature will correspond to 20 degrees Celsius? All right, y'all, there's our 4 choices: 104, 68, 140, 176. And we got 68, so let's see if she's right on that one. All right, so y'all, I'm putting my 20 in here. So F of 20 equals 9/5 times 20 plus 32. All right, so I'm going to divide 20 by 5 and make that a 4. Now you can do 9 times 20, get 180. Divide that by 5. Either way you go, you better get 9 times 4 was 36 for that point. and then bring down that plus 32. Angela, I think you're right, because 36 plus 32 is going to give me 68. So good job on that. So 68 would have been RB, okay? So you did it on calculator, Angela?
Yes, sir. I just typed it in like 9 divided by 5 parentheses 20 plus
Yeah, you can
32.
do that. Let me pull mine up.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, you could have just like you said, 9 divided by 5. And then what was in parentheses? We had
20.
20 and then add 32. And then bam, there's that 68. Good job. Now, Ella, to write a fraction, I just do 9 divided by 5. Now, if you officially want it to look like a fraction, you can hit this green alpha button and hit the y equals. When you hit the green button and the y equals, it'll pull this little box up. Number 1 for n over d, that's fraction notation. So I could do it that way, put in my 9, then come in and put in my 5. L right, and then what was that, 20 in parentheses, plus my 32. So either way on the fractions, okay? And then when you hit enter, you still get 68. So you can do 9 divided by 5, or you can use the alpha y equals for it that way, okay? All right, y'all, so then we hit next, so it'll be another graph coming up. Oh, no, this one is, so let's see what y'all think. Is this a function? So I've seen some heads saying yes over there, it looked like.
No.
So I'm getting a no and some yeses there on this. So let me ask y'all this. Does each of those domain values point to one and only one range value? Oh, and I done talked y'all into changing your numbers, and y'all was actually right for most of y'all the first time. Look at that. That domain value 3 only points to one range value of 23. Then if I look at 13 only points to one range value of 5. And then look at that 25. 25 only points to one range value of 23. So that is definitely a yes. Every domain only points to one range, okay? Now, y'all, this problem is the same on every test I've done, so I'm pretty sure that everybody's correspondence will be yes, a function, okay? All they do is change the numbers, but it's the same pattern. All right, y'all, what is this, number 5? Now, the difference between this and question number 1 is they're using the f of x notation. So f of x equals negative 4x plus 4. And then they're giving us the numbers to use for our table. They're telling me to use a negative 2, a 0, and a 2. So that's the only difference. So let's go knock this out real quick. And it's already solved for us, so you can do this on the calculator under y1 equals. You can put in the negative 4x plus 4. Pull up your table, it'll have all the answers. And then hit graph to see what it'll look like, okay? All right, y'all, here I go. What are y'all going to get if we put a negative 2 in for that x? So that'll be like f of negative 2. You're going to have negative 4 times negative 2 plus 4.
12.
So that's going to be 12. Good job. Because negative times negative makes that a positive 8 plus 4. All right, put me a 0 in there. So f of 0 will be negative 4 times 0 plus 4.
4.
So that'll be 4. Good job. And then finally, f of 2 will be negative 4 times 2 plus my 4. And we all got negative 4 on that because negative times positive makes that a negative 8. Negative 8 plus 4 is a negative 4. Now, y'all, here's the thing. This is another line tool on number 5. It's going to be a line tool. I've only got to plot 2 of these, so I'm probably going to plot these 2 easier numbers when I graph it. Okay, so we go right over to our Math Lab to graph that. So click the graph. Oh, first you would have to put in all the numbers. So what was that? 12, y'all said. This one was, I think, 4. And then this one was a negative 4. So you got to put them in real quick, and then we'll click to enlarge graph. Number 5 will be the line tool with 2 points on it. And I said I was doing 0, 4, I think it was. And then 2, negative 4. Okay, got my 2 points. Save that, and then move on. Now, y'all, that one on the calculator, like I said, let me knock it out real quick. There's y equals. I'm going to clear everything off. So you just put in the negative 4 times x plus 4. Now, second graph will pull up the table. So then you can come up here to negative 2. There's the 12. We had 0. There's the 4. And then 2 was negative 4. So you can get your values right there and then look at your graph. Whoops, hit graph. And there's that graph we drew, okay? Now, y'all, what is this? Number 6, and it's another graph. F of x equals 2 plus absolute value of x. Okay? Now, look, they're giving me my numbers here. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. All right, so we'll knock this out by hand, and then I'll show you on that calculator real quick. So, y'all, if you're putting a negative 2 into that, you'll have 2 plus absolute value of negative 2. What in the world will that give me? Angela, you're pretty quick over there. You got a 4. Good job. Because absolute value of 2, negative 2 is 2. So that's 2 plus 2, which is definitely a 4. All right, put me a negative 1 in there. So good job. That'll be 3 because that'll be 2 plus 1, which is 3. So remember, when you come out of absolute value, you're going to be a positive number, okay? All right, f of 0 will be 2 plus absolute value of 0. All right, what are we getting there? 2, good job, because that's 2 plus 0, which is 2. Now, these absolute values, you're going to start seeing some symmetry on these answers. Because the absolute value of a negative 1 is the same thing as the absolute value of a positive 1. So f of 1 is 2 plus absolute value of 1. All right, y'all, so what's that give me? All right, good job, 2 plus 1, which is 3. So see how those two matched up. And then we got f of 2. So 2 plus absolute value of 2. And what y'all got there? 4. Good job. Because that's 2 plus 2 which would be a 4. All right, y'all, watch this. You do got calculators. So I'm going to hit share from my calculator real quick. I'm going to go to y equals and clear this off. Y'all, the only trick on the calculator is finding the absolute value. So here we go. We got 2 plus. So to get absolute value, you hit the math button and you arrow right and highlight that number column. Number 1, ABS, is absolute value. So I'm going to hit enter. It brings it on my screen and I'm going to put in my X. So now I got 2 plus the absolute value of X. Y'all, we had to get our numbers first, so I would hit second graph for my table. And there you go, there's -2. We got a 4. -1, we got a 3. 0, we got a 2. 1, we got a 3. And 2, we got a 4. Now I'm going to hit graph. And y'all, there's my V-shaped graph. Now, MATLAB is the tricky one. Y'all, when I put in all these, I got to put in my numbers real quick. 4, 3, 2, 3, and 4. Y'all, this is where MATLAB is picky. I'm going to use the V-shaped absolute value tool. And notice I need 2 points. But I have to do the V shape first. Oh my God, y'all got that already in the chat. Look at that. You have to do the 0, 2 first. You got to do the middle point first or this will mark it wrong, okay? So who is over here on my chat? Let me pull that up so I can see who that was. Angela, good job. So we're going to do 0, 2 first. So 0 and up 2. And then any other point y'all want. I can do 1, 3, -1, 3, and all that. I usually like to keep mine positive. So here goes 1 and 3. Y'all, that looks exactly like my calculator, okay? So hit save on that and move on. But that's where I get y'all at on that one is because of that middle point being first, okay? All right, y'all, what is this? Number 7, f of x equals -x squared minus 10. And once again, they're giving me all my values. -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay? Sometimes I get people on this one because of that extra negative in this problem. So here we go. What would we get for f of -2? Now y'all remember that negative's in this formula, so you better bring down that negative, put that -2 in parentheses, square it, minus 10. So what do y'all get? -6? Oh, I think I got you on that one.
Is it now -14?
It's going to be -14. Good job. Because remember, you bring down that negative, you square the -2, making that a 4. So that becomes a -4 minus 10. And -4 minus 10 is -14. Now remember, y'all, you can use these on the calculator too. So just clear your graphing. And then you can put in your negative. And in parentheses, -2. Close parentheses and square that, and then -10. And y'all, when you hit enter, you get your -14. Oh yeah, Angela, if you put that 2 inside the parentheses, it doesn't square to negative, so that's where that error came from, okay? So there you go. So make sure you're sort of behind the parentheses with them exponents. All right, how about -1, y'all? F of -1. A negative times -1 squared minus 10. So basically, this negative right here is keeping everything negative on that. So you got your negative, -1 squared is 1, minus 10. All right, Angela, that's good. That looks like a -11 like we need. All right, do me a 0. So if you square to 0, you get a big 0, and 0 minus 10. What are y'all getting here? -10, right? Because 0 squared is 0. 0 times that negative, so you got 0 minus 10, which is -10. Now put in my 1. F of 1 would be a negative times 1 squared minus 10. So the thing you're going to get with 1 would be the same thing you got with that -1. Because squaring a 1 is the same thing as squaring a -1. So bring down that negative. 1 squared is 1 minus 10. So this one will give me what? -11. So now y'all are seeing how I'm getting my symmetry, which means F of 2 has to be what? All right, y'all, one more and then we can actually graph it. So good job, -14. I got all my numbers here, so now I can, let me show you on the calculator real quick and then we'll graph it. So calculator, y equals and clear. So y'all, here you go. You had a negative x squared. Bring down that exponent, it did. And then minus 10. So let me go to the table, second graph. All right, y'all, there's our numbers. That -2, there's that -14, -11, -10. Then we got a -11 and a -14 again, okay? And we're going to look at the graph before I graph it. So I'm just going to hit graph. I want to hit graph. Oh, look, I think it's beyond the window on my graph, ain't it? Because my -10 is right here on this graph. So watch this. I'm going to zoom in. Yeah. What would I do? Zoom that out just a little bit. And there you go. So it's going to be upside down since my graph wasn't big enough. I zoomed it out a little bit just to see it. So my numbers were all too big for my calculator, so you have to sort of fix that window a little bit, okay? Well, all right, we want MATLAB though. MATLAB should have it all. Look, MATLAB goes to 20 on it, okay? So you put in your values, -14, -11, and we had a -10, -11 again, and then our -14. All right, I'll click the graph. So what tool would I use for this x squared graph? You got a line tool, you got the V-shaped tool, you got the U-shaped parabola, good job, Caleb. And then you got the cubic tool. So good job, it's going to be the parabola. 3-point parabola. Well, all right, y'all. So I'm going to do the 0, 1, and 2 on this one. So 0, -10. Then I'm going to do the negative. I'm going to do the 1, -11. And then I'm going to do the 2, negative 14. And click. Okay, so that looks like what we had in MathLab once I zoomed it out a little bit, okay? And then save that and move on to the next. So the first part of my test is a little graph heavy, okay? Now this is for y'all. All I want to know is this graph a function? Well, Charles is no. Christina looked like you was saying no on that one. Good job. This thing is going to fail the vertical line test. If you drew a vertical line on that graph, it would hit the top part and the bottom part, which makes it go through it twice like Charles is saying over here. So good job. That is not a function. Now, Charles, you done did my test, so it was the same picture on your test as I'm getting on my review, right? A sideways looking parabola. So y'all, that is your first gimme question. If you get a sideways parabola like me, y'all better put no on that, okay? All right, then we start getting into the domain. So what I got, g of x equals 6 divided by 4 minus 7x. All right, y'all, so the trick is to solve the bottom for the x. Once you solve that for the x, kick that number out of your domain, okay? So I basically set the bottom equal to 0. Once I solve that, then I'll have my number I'm kicking out of my domain. So you have two ways to solve this. You can either subtract 4 over, or you could add 7x to both sides. It does not matter which way y'all do that, okay? Probably if you want to keep everything positive, if you add 7x, you get 4 over here, that cancels. And then over here, 0 plus 7x is 7x. And then y'all divide both sides by 7, because that's what's in front of the x. So that 4/7, I can't do nothing to. 7 divided by 7 makes that a 1x. Y'all, either way would have worked the same. You could have subtracted 4 over. And then when you divided by negative 7, that would have made everything a positive 4 over 7, okay? All right, so I'm looking for the one answer that says all real numbers, x cannot equal 4 over 7. So y'all, that would be D for me. Now they try to trick you with A, but we don't use greater than or equals on our domain, okay? All right, hit next. All right, y'all, f of 2 plus g of 2. So let's see, f of x is negative 4x plus 6. G of x equals x squared plus 1. So really this one's just working it and doing order of operations on it, okay? So f of 2 plus g of 2 will equal my f plus my g. Now they're giving me 2's in place of the x's for both of these. So I'm going to replace these x's with a 2. So I got negative 4 times 2 plus 6. And then over here I got 2 squared plus 1. Work order of operations inside each parenthesis, or at this point, plug it on your calculator, either way, okay? All right, y'all, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 plus 6. Second parenthesis, 2 squared is 4 plus 1. All right, my last step, adding over here, negative 8 and 6 give me negative 2 plus 4 plus 1 is 5. And y'all, -2 plus 5 gives me what? A positive 3 there, okay? Y'all, like I said, at this point up here, you could have plugged it right in your calculator, okay? All right, so on that one, we got a positive 3. All right, going on. Same thing here. F of x is a negative 14x plus 8. G of x is a x squared plus 4. They want us to find f of 9 divided by g of 9. Alrighty, so let me get my sheet here. All right, so f of 9 divided by g of 9. My f will be on top, so I'm putting a 9 in for that x. So I got negative 14 times 9 plus 8. On bottom for g, I'm going to have 9 squared plus 4. And then this is just working order of operations, y'all. So first I would have to figure out what negative 14 times 9 is. That's what, negative 126, I think. Plus my 8. On bottom, 9 squared is like 81 plus my 4. All right, negative 126 plus 8 gives me a negative 118. 81 plus 4 is 85. Now, if I want to see if that reduces, I'm going to use my calculator real quick, okay? Because that is a big number to figure out. So I can go to my calculator. And I'm going to quit that graphing. And y'all watch this. Actually, I can do this whole problem on my calculator. Alpha y equals, get my fraction notation. On top, I had a negative 14 times 9 plus 8. On bottom, I had 9 squared plus 4. Now, when you use this fraction notation like I'm doing, it'll give me my answer in a reduced fraction when I hit enter. So I'm going to hit enter. And y'all look at that. Negative 118 or over 85 means my fraction did not reduce, okay? But y'all watch out. A lot of these have been reducing. All right, so here, I'll hit enter, and there's a fraction thing down here with the 2 blue boxes. So hit enter on your fraction. And then on top, I had what, a negative 118. And then on the bottom, I had a 85. You can put the fraction, you can put the negative on top. You can put the negative out front if you want to and do a 118 over 85. It does not matter, okay? All righty, y'all. So let me write this one down. They want f of x equals negative 2x plus 3. G of x equals x squared plus 5. We're going to find f plus g of x. Now, we can't get a single answer on this because we don't have no numbers for those x's, okay? So the only thing we can do is simplify this one. So y'all, f plus g of x will equal f, which is negative 2x plus 3, plus g, which is x squared plus 5. All right, y'all, when you're adding, you can drop parentheses and bring everything out. negative 2x plus 3 plus my x squared plus 5. Can I go further with this problem? Angela, what you got there? You got an x squared, so you're putting them in order. Looks like you did an x squared, then you did the minus 2x, and then you got an 8. Looks like you added my like terms, 3 plus 5, and got me an 8. Good job, y'all. So really on adding, drop parentheses and add like terms, and then you'd be done, okay? All right, y'all, so that one we got to go put in Math Lab. All right, so you click in there, you had x squared. So to square it, drive this button down here, put in my 2, arrow right and get out of that, and put in a minus 2x, and then plus your 8. All right, y'all, you put that in and then slide to next. All right, what's this one want? G minus f of x. So y'all, let's see. F of x is a negative 3x plus 4. G of x is a x cubed minus 2. All right, so we got that wrote down. Let's go see what y'all do with this. So I want g minus f of x. So they're doing subtraction. So I'm going to put my subtraction in between my parentheses. I want to know, what would y'all put in the first parentheses?
G.
Ella, I couldn't hardly hear you.
G.
So you want me to put in the x3 minus 2? And that means in the second parentheses, the f is the negative 3x plus 4. Now, so Charles, let me see if I can get to that, what you got. So we're doing subtraction, so drop the first parentheses, and then you have to distribute that negative. So a negative times negative will make that a positive 3x. And then that negative times that positive 4 makes that a negative 4. Charles, you are so close. Let me show you what got you. So you got your x cubed. Next, I would put my plus 3x. But what is a negative 2 plus a negative 4? Okay, so Charles, you see what you did? So that's actually going to be what, a negative 6 on that, okay? All right, y'all, so add like terms. Just remember, when you add two negatives, adding two negatives will stay negative. All right, y'all, so that was an x cubed, so grab that and cube it. All right, bring it back down, and you had plus 3x, and then we had what, a minus 6. All right, y'all, you're going to plug that in and hit next. Y'all, this one looks big, but listen. Whatever answer you get for the sum is going to be the same answer you get for the difference, which will be the same answer that you get for the product. Every one of these had the same answer when y'all did these problems. My only question is this. If I was to add these two functions, are there any numbers that I got to kick out of my domain? So y'all, let me write this real quick. So f of x was 1 over x minus 2. G of x was 5x cubed. So, let me get my clicker going. So if I was going to add these, f plus g of x would equal my f, 1 over x minus 2, plus my g, 5x cubed. So y'all saying 2, Carlethia's saying 2. Y'all, because the only thing I'm worried about is that fraction, right? And the only number that x cannot be is a 2. Because 2 minus 2 will make that 0, which makes it undefined. And y'all, 2 is the only number that I cannot have here. So I'm going to go kick out that 2 from my domain. So you're going to pick A. X is a real number, and X cannot equal 2. Y'all, you got to put the X in there also, okay? And the not equal, and then the 2. All right.
I have a quick question.
Uh-huh.
On number 13, you said x was cubed, but when you did the problem, it was squared.
Oh, hell, okay, my bad. Make that a 2. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? I actually did that on my I wrote it down wrong, I think. Instead of x squared minus 2, I think I put x3 minus 2 when I was doing the problem. So good
Okay.
job, Brandon. So attention to detail on those. So since that's the x squared, that had to stay at x squared on that answer, y'all, okay? All right, y'all, if you was going to subtract those functions, guess what? The only number that x cannot be would still be that 2. So come in and say x cannot equal 2. And then for the product, same thing. If you was going to multiply them, that x still could not equal a positive 2. These three gotta match, okay? And then y'all hit next. Oh, y'all look here. X plus y plus z
Can
equals.
I re-see the notes for 14?
Oh, you want to see my notes real quick?
Yeah.
So I'm going to flip over here. Let me see. So 14 would have been this stuff right here. And really, I was just looking at the only number that x couldn't be, which we said was this 2, okay? And since your adding had this answer of x cannot equal 2, the subtracting and multiplying also had to have that same answer, okay?
Is it always a positive 2? Like, even if the number is negative?
No, 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 no. What if this would have been, say, for example here, what if I had f of x equaled 1 over x plus 2? What if it was x plus 2? Then this here x, Carlethia, you're right, this here x could not be a negative 2. So, Ella, it's like this. The x will always be opposite sign than the number they're giving you. So if they give you a positive 2, it's going to be negative. If they give you a negative 2, it's going to be positive, okay? So it's basically opposite signs, right? Alrighty, y'all. So good questions y'all are getting on these for sure. All right, so let me share. We had a system of equations. This would be 2x plus 4y plus 2z equals 4, and then a negative x plus 7y minus 3z equaled negative 8. Yeah, Angel, that was right on that last one. You just set the bottom equal to 0 and solve for your x. Good job. Alrighty, y'all, I'm doing this on my calculator. My TI-84 loves this problem. So I'm going to share my calculator. And all I'm putting in is the numbers. 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 2, 4, and then a -1, 7, -3, -8. All right, y'all, so I'm going to clear everything off. So I'm going to go to second x -1 for my matrix. I'm going to arrow over to edit and hit enter. So that's still a 3 by 4. You got 3 rows by 4 columns. So hit 3 enter and 4 enter. All right, so my first row was 1x, 1y, 1z equal 2 enter. My second row was 2x's, 4y, 2z equaled 4 enter. My last row was a -1x, 7y, -3z, and that equaled a -8 and enter. So y'all, I'm going to quit this screen, remember, second mode to quit. So do y'all remember the operation I need to solve this? I'm going to go to the matrix. So what would I do now?
Go to math.
Okay, go to math.
Go down to keep going. I gotta see it. That one, the RREF.
RREF, good job. That reduces the matrix. So you want RREF, enter. And then y'all, go get that matrix. Second matrix and enter. All right, y'all. So any of y'all got the answers? Did y'all done it yet? Anyone got 3 answers for me? So let's see, -103. Let's hit enter and see. And y'all look at that. On the right column, a -1, 0, and 3. Now remember, we just got to put these in parentheses in MathLab. Oh, MathLab's already got that parentheses. So we just needed what? A -1. What was next? 0. And then R3. All right, throw them in and hit next. All right, y'all, let's see what y'all put on this. The translation. The first number is 50 more than the sum of the other 2 numbers. Now, this is one I got y'all on my homework. So let me write this out for you. So the first number is 50 more than the sum of the other 2 numbers. Now, y'all listen. This has been the same every time I've done this problem. So whatever we get here is what y'all are going to get when y'all do this problem, okay? Now, I don't know that first number, so that's going to be x. Is means equals, and then 50 more than the sum of the other 2 numbers. Well, y'all don't know these other 2 numbers, but the sum means they're being added, y plus z, and then 50 more means you're adding 50 to that. So y'all, all the answers had everything on the left side. Remember, the y and the z have to be on the left side equal to the number. So what would we get if we move this y and z to the other side? What would y'all get for an answer?
X plus Y plus Z equals 50.
Brenda, what'd you just say?
X plus Y plus Z equals 50.
Um, so watch this, Brandon. So to move this Y and Z to the other side, you would actually subtract
What's the
them from
triangle? Okay.
so subtract both of them. And Charles, Angela, what are y'all getting? Yeah, so that's gonna make everything X minus Y minus Z, because those will cancel, and that's gonna equal your 50. So instead of adding them, make sure y'all are subtracting both of those, okay? And then it should have that answer when we pull that thing down. Um, yeah, so we want the second one on mine, X minus Y minus Z equals 50. Y'all listen here. The only thing they're changing on this problem is going to be that 50. Everything else is the same. So y'all better get an answer that looks like this one when y'all do this, okay? Oh, and y'all like now I'll do this one on my calculator too, but y'all the first thing you got to do is get my equations. So in triangle ABC, angle B is 22 more than 3 times A. Then it says angle C is 53 more than A. And then find the measure of each of these angles they got here, okay? All right, so I got that wrote down. So we just got to come up with these equations. So B is 22 more than 3 times A. So that means B equals 3 times A plus 22. Now, I need this 3A moved to the other side. So if I'm going to move the 3A to the other side, I'm going to make it negative. So putting this one in order, I would have my negative 3A plus my B. That's going to equal 22. Now, y'all notice I left a little space here because the other equation has a C in it, okay? All right, so my second equation, C is 53 more than A. So that means C equals 53 plus my A, or you could have did A plus 53, okay? Well, guess what? This A has to move to the other side by subtracting it. So this equation will give me a negative A plus my C equals 53. So y'all, let's write these together. Negative 3A plus B equals 22. This one had a negative A plus my C equaled 53. All right, I've only got 2 equations out of what they gave me. So what was my third equation? Do y'all remember? So I'll let y'all punch that one up. What do I know about these 3 angles on that triangle? Okay, A plus B plus C. Ella, that's and A plus B plus C equal what? 180. Good job. Now, y'all, here's my question. What would I put in place of this C and this B when I put these into my calculator? Good job, Christina. Those are going to be zeros. So I'm going to do negative 3, 1, 0, 22, negative 1, 0, 1, 53, 1, 1, 1, 180, okay? So let's throw that into that calculator and see how much these angles equal. All right, y'all, so let me clear everything off here. All right, so second matrix, edit, enter, that's a 3x4 still. All right, so this one had negative 3a, 1b, 0c equal 22. Negative 1a, 0b, 1c equaled 53. And then that last row y'all gave me 1, 1, 1 equaled 180. And enter. All right, so I'm gonna quit that screen. So do any of y'all got my triangle measures? All right, so let me see if y'all did that right. What did y'all get for those three angles? A, B, and C. Oh, Angela, somewhere that had to be wrong. Let me hit enter because you shouldn't get a decimal on that. You should get three nice numbers. So, Angela, when you get decimals, here's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to hit second, x negative 1 for your matrix. Go over to edit and see if any of your numbers were off. So, Angela, pull yours up and see if you got a negative 3, 1, 0, 22. And then make sure your signs are right on the next one. Negative 1, 0, 1, 53. And then your last row should be 1, 1, 1, 180. So are all your numbers, make sure what you got in there, okay? Also, a 50, so change that 55 to a 53 for me right now. Do 53 enter on that spot. See, it'll let you arrow through there and get to it. So just arrow down to that, put me a 53 in there, and then quit your screen, okay? Now go do your RREFA and you should get these three angles right here, okay? All right, good job. So y'all listen, if you get a decimal, that's what you got to do. Go back to the edit screen and make sure of your numbers and your signs, okay? Because just one number will kill us on that. All right, y'all, so you'd put in your three angles and then hit next. Well, this is the same, so let's just see if we can get our numbers. The sum of three numbers is 59. The difference of the largest and smallest is 51. And then the sum of the two smaller numbers is 14. Then they want us to find our numbers. And they're putting them in from largest to smallest, okay? So I'll tell you what I do on this one technically. I make this my largest number, will be my X's, and then my middle number, and then my smallest. And those will equal whatever's over here. So the sum of three numbers is 59. So that is an X plus a Y plus a Z equals 59. So y'all, the trick is, what will y'all put for the difference of the largest and smallest is 51. So good job. X minus Z equals 51. And then Charles, how about the sum of the two smaller numbers is 14? Good job. So that'll be your y plus your z equal 14. All right, y'all. Once again, you don't have a y here. That's a 0. You don't have an x here. That's a 0. All right, y'all. So let's punch this in on the calculator and see what my three numbers will be. So I'm going to clear everything off. All right, second matrix, edit, and enter. So y'all still the 3 by 4. So this one had 11159. Then I had 1 enter, 0 enter, and -1 enter. And then that equaled 51. So watch out for that negative on that one, okay? For that negative z. And then this one had 0, 1. These ones were being added, so they're all positive. And then that equaled 14. Okay, y'all, so make sure you got the negative for the largest minus the smallest. And then these were both positive because it was the sum of the two smaller numbers. So I'm going to quit that screen. All right, y'all, so I'm waiting on y'all's answers for that three numbers there. I'm going to hit enter and then go back and grab my matrix. All right, so a sum of my three numbers is going to equal 59. So I'm going to hit enter and find out those numbers. And y'all, you should get 45, 20, and -6.
I don't know what I did wrong. Let me go back.
I thought you was telling me the numbers to put in on the thing. Okay, so second matrix. Let's go to edit and see what you got there. So one of your numbers has got to be missing here. So Brandon, your first row, 11159, is that right?
I see it's the last row. I put one in wrong.
Okay, so yeah, fix that, edit that, and then quit the screen and then punch it in again and let's see what you get.
Okay. Give me just a second.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, now I got it right.
Okay. Yeah, so just remember when you looked at that 0, 0, and 1, remember they had to add up to get that they had to add up to get us 59, okay? All right, so y'all, you'll put them answers in and then hit next. All right, y'all, this one we started getting to the shading. So y greater than x minus 3. So let me go share that real quick. All righty, so it's already solved for y. So I just need two x values that we could put in on this. So y'all got two x's I can use? 0 and 1, that sounds good. All right, so if we put a 0 in for x, 0 minus 3 is what, a -3? And if you put a 1 in for x, 1 minus 3 would be what, a -2. All right, so that's pretty small, y'all. So I'm just going to go out about 5. All right, so 0, -3. So here's 0 down 3. Now remember, on this one, you're using the line tool to graph it. 1, -2, right? 1 down 2. Now, the first thing you got to tell MathLab, though, is what kind of line will I draw here, y'all? Is it going to be, well, hell, y'all done got that. What are y'all saying, dashed? Good job. It's going to be dashed. Now, just remember, in MathLab, before you even choose the line tool, you got to choose that dash line on it, okay? All right, so y'all got that. Where do y'all want me to shade? Above or below? So, Charles, you're pretty right because you're saying to the left side, and that's going to be above. Good job. All right, y'all, so you graph that real quick. So let's go to MathLab, enlarge the graph. So notice the first thing I got to do is make it go to the dash line, then choose the line tool, do my 0, -3, and then my right one down 2. All right, it's dash line, and then y'all paint it to the left side. All right, y'all save that and do your next one. All right, so what do we got? Y greater than or equal to x plus 6. Y less than or equal to 4 minus x. All right, y'all, so this will be one answer, and we're looking for the double shaded area when we do that, okay? So I'm going to work it by hand. So I'm going to have my two graphs shaded on this. So let me do an X and Y for each of these graphs. So that one I'll do there, and then that one there. All right, so X values, I'm going to do what y'all gave me a while ago, the zeros and ones for both of these. So 0 plus 6 is 6, and then put a 1 in. 1 plus 6 is 7. Over here, 4 minus 0 is 4, and then 4 minus 1 would be 3. So y'all, I'm going to go out about 7, it looks like. All right, so my first line. Now, this one, you don't got to guess what line is. They're all solid lines, and MathLab's answers will all be solid lines, okay? So 0, 6 would be right here, and then right one up 7. So it's a solid line, but the question is, am I shading above or below? So the first one I did was right here, y greater than x. So y'all got above, so good job. So you come in and you're shading this all above. All right, y'all, so this one had 0, 4. So 0, 4. And then right one up 3. So that line came down like this. So y'all, my second line, am I shading this second line above or below? Okay, y'all are shading that in below. So that one's going to go like that. So y'all, my answer is this double shaded section right over here. So I'm looking for the one that looks like it's shaded left on it, okay? So I'm going to go to MathLab. And it looks like D is shaded to the left. Yo, I'm not going to lie, but every time I've done this problem, homework, quizzes, tests, it's always the one shaded to the left. Charles, you did this test last night. Was yours the same thing shaded to the left? Yeah, that's what I thought. So most of these are going to be that one like that shaded to the left on them, okay? Because you got one above, one below, okay? All right, now I'm not going to submit it because I didn't fill out all the answers on some of these, so we're not going to get 100 because I didn't do all the questions. So we're only going to get a 90. We must have left 2 blanks. I think I left 2 of the big ones blank on it, remember? But y'all, that's your so y'all here tonight, I'll give y'all credit for the quiz, okay? And then I made a copy of the quiz for y'all to practice on. So practice on that practice quiz, okay? Test is due Sunday night. It's the same questions I just did with y'all, okay? You're going to have 20 questions, same order as I had them, and the same type answers, okay?
I have a really dumb question.
Okay.
So going back to 13, I had to walk away for a minute, and so, but I came back shortly after. But y'all were already done with that question. When you're taking the negative and like moving it over, like dividing it to the other parenthesis,
Uh-huh.
is it does the negative stay a negative or does it become a positive?
So let me write this one down real quick. So what did I have? I had a f of x equal negative 3x plus 4. G of x equal x squared minus 2. And this one was the g minus f of x. Okay. So I got that wrote down. So let me show you what happened on that. So I did my g minus my f. Well, g was the x squared minus 2. And then the f was the negative 3x plus 4. So, Ella, I think what you're asking me, so the first one comes out exactly like it looks. So here's where we're doing our distributing. So you distributed negative times negative, made this one a positive 3x. And then Ella, distribute that negative again. So the negative times the positive 4 made it a negative. And then at that point, the only like terms you had were these negative 4 and negative 2. So putting them in order, I would put my x squared, then my plus 3x, and then negative 2 and negative 4 gave us our negative 6. So did that help you on that one?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All righty. So let me stop that share. I will send this out